everyone, and welcome back. We're going to have a little look at teaching our dog to politely go through doorways. Okay, so it's a really good life skill to teach your dogs. Ruby, sit. Because you don't want to be opening your door, especially if you're on a quite a busy main road. You don't want to be opening your door and your dog flies out in front of you. It's also a really good skill to use when you're out on your walks, when you're going through gateways, so they don't suddenly fly past you into a field full of sheep, for instance. So I like to teach my dogs that when I open a door or a gate, they have to sort of hang back. But it's a good way of teaching or proofing your sit stay. All right, so we're going to use a sit stay to work on this. So it's just really a sit stay with distractions. So Ruby's already in a nice stay. What I'm doing is feeding her for being in that position. Now, to start with, you're not going to just go to your door and open it and expect your dog to sit there, okay? Because that's going to be too difficult for them. So what I am going to do is maybe just hold on to the door handle a little bit, and then go back and feed Ruby for maintaining that nice sit. Good girl. And then I might just move the handle a little bit. If that gets your dog moving, then go back a step and just hold on to the door. Even just moving towards the door might encourage your dog to move. So you might want to just do a little bit of working on them being able to stay in the sit as you move around them a little bit. All right, so you might want to start with that as your first step. And don't forget to keep rewarding them for being in that sit. Okay, and then we're going to progress to be able to sort of move that handle, maybe open the door a tiny little bit, go back and reward your dog. Good girl, good girl. And what I might do at this stage is just release her from the sit, just so that she has a little break. And what I'm going to do is release her by giving her a release cue, but I'm going to throw the treat behind her, so she doesn't think release means go through the door. Okay, good girl. And then I'm going to get her to come back a little bit closer. Sit, sit, good. And then we're going to progress from here again. So I'm going to reward her for being in the sit. I don't tend to use a stay with her because as she just gets up, sit should mean sit. I think I dropped a treat on the floor actually. Can we sit, please? Good girl. Sit for me is sit until I tell you to do something else. And at this point, it's a release cue that I give her. So I'm now going to go and see if I can open the door a little bit wider. Good. And reward her for being in that sit. Good girl. Good girl. So each time you just want to gradually increase the level of difficulty a little bit. So I'm just going to open the door a little bit more, come back, and I'm going to release her again. Okay, and I release her away from the door. So I get her to come back. Ruby Roo. Can we sit? Good. Good girlie. Nice. Good girl. Good. So now I'm starting to open the door a little bit more. Don't worry if when you do this your dog can't maintain the sit while doing that to start with. You've got to build it up in tiny little steps. I've done quite a lot of this with her. She's not really that interested in going out this door until I give her a cue to go. All right, so she's likely to be able to stay there. Good girl. Good girl. Okay, so you just want to keep building up so you can eventually open that door and then you can release them through. Good girl. In fact, I'm going to leave it open, reward her for being open, so she doesn't think door's open, I'm going to shoot through, and then, okay, you can go out. Good girl. And come back in, nice. And sit. Good girl. So that's how I would teach door manners. You can do it at with any door or gateway, as I say. If you're training this at your doorway where your dog normally goes out on a walk and they find that quite exciting, then you are going to have to really break it down in tiny little steps. All right. What I don't want you to do is, as you open the door and they go to shoot through, you shut the door right in their face. I wouldn't recommend that because that's not very nice. So we want them to be able to think, door opens, I don't go through until I release. Okay. Right, and for my dogs now, I don't really, they don't need to be in a stand. I just don't want them going through the door unless I cue it. Good girl. Well done. So have a little go at that and we'll see you next time.